Hey guys, Wally Lampkin again, Triad Powerboats. You're watching Triad TV. I want to thank you for watching this. Thank you for hitting that subscribe button and the like button and sharing this thing with your friends. That's what's going to keep it on. You want to keep watching it, you definitely have to do that. And to really subscribe to it, you need to go through Google or YouTube and establish your own account. Then you can go into it and subscribe to it. But I want to thank you for watching. We left off on our last session talking about Bateman Marine, Bateman Racing, and we'll go back to some of that later. But some of our viewers are bugging me, and some of my local buddies are bugging me, wanting me to talk about where did Triad Powerboats come from, and why is there and how is there a Triad Powerboats company. So that's what we're going to talk about mostly in this session, and then we'll go back to some of that other stuff. But basically, after I graduated from Bible college, I did a lot of other things, mission trips, worked for some different ministries in Fort Worth, Texas, and then finally went out on my own business. Had a truck conversion company. We built a lot of conversion trucks. Made more money doing conversion trucks than I made building boats, but my love was still boats. And then I finally ended up starting an electronic company, being a partner of mine, and I hated it because I had to sell stuff, and I hate selling. I can't stand selling. I wouldn't want. I don't want to sell a flaming stick to a frozen Eskimo. I'd rather grind 400 square feet of fiberglass with a grinder than do sales. So I'd have to go to work every day and do sales and hate my job, and I own half the company. So that don't make a lot of sense, but that's the way it was. So I'd take a day off here and a day off there, and work a night here, weekend there. And I'd drive to Kilgore, Texas, and help my buddy Alan Stinson, who was one of my best mentors, to learn a lot of things that I've learned. He created nitro boats, and I wasn't a big bass boat fan, but I was a boat fan, and I enjoyed my time with Alan. And he was a design genius and a very good boat racer back when he raced. I think I told y'all the story about him and Earl Bench running too many laps at the race up there and getting DQ'd. He was a nut and a lot of fun. And then I started. Crowley, Texas is not far from Fort Worth, maybe 20-minute ride. I found out there was a guy named David Adams that owned a place called Liberator Boats. And I went over there and talked to him, and he was making some pretty neat hot rod stuff. And I'd go over there and work for him. I'd play hooky from my own company and go over there and work for him a day a week. And then I'd work there on a weekend, sometimes at night, just because I have that hot rod boat disease, and I still have it. And I don't want to get cured of it. And I love it, still love it. I always will love it. But I'd go over there and work with him. I did that for a while. And then I finally got to making enough money with my real job. You know, I could finally, I could afford to buy me and my family a boat. And to me, boating is about family. I couldn't just go out and buy some super bad race boat and let my family sit on the bank and watch me run up and down the lake. So I started looking, and what David was making was real California looking, and I liked that look. Except I don't like sitting on the boat. I want to sit in the boat. So I didn't buy what he was making at that time. He's making some bigger stuff now. And old Randy Corson, some people know him as Wild Man down in Daytona Beach. He sells a lot of David Adams boats. And Randy does an awesome job rigging and painting those boats. And Randy does not need to do anything. Randy could sit in a recliner all day and pay somebody to bring him iced tea or whatever. He doesn't need another dime. He does that like I do. He just loves it. And he is very picky. But anyway, enough of that. I didn't want a Liberator because the way you sat in it, and just wasn't a family to me, family boat to me. I flew up to Oklahoma City, had a boat show up there, and Allison was finally selling some boats west of the Mississippi now. And I went up there and looked at those. I was still an Allison fan, still a Mercury fan. If you cut me right now, I'm gonna bleed black, and that ain't probably will never ever change. And I went up to Oklahoma City, and Harris was building the XR boats in, and that XR, I don't remember what the number. I can't keep up with all them numbers he puts on the boats, but it was a XR something. And basically, it was a center steer hot rod boat that had two little benches in the back. And I looked at it and I was like, I ain't putting my wife and kids back on them two little benches. That ain't gonna work. Then I went over to David Berry's in Irving, Texas. He had Marine Dynamics. He was selling Rourke Summerford, which I knew. If you watched any of these videos, you knew I knew Rourke. He was building the STVs. So I went over there and looked at the STV Pro Comp. It was a 4-seater. And it was barely big enough for my family, but I could kind of see them in it. We'd be crowded, but at least it was a hot rod. And then David started telling me how when you get under 50, it sneezes water out the front of the tunnel. And I was like, well, my pretty little blonde wife is not going to like that. So that's out. I went and looked at Collins's Mirages, and they were basically, they're not the same boat. I'm not saying that, but they're the same basic theoretical design and just not enough room. And so I said, well, I like the California stuff. I used to love the Sanger hydros and all that, except you had to sit on top of them instead of sitting down in them. And I didn't like any of their big V-bottom boats, so I decided I'd go buy me a Stoker. So I flew out to California. I was going to buy me a Stoker, 20-foot Stoker, and put me a Black Max on the back of it and go have fun. I flew out there and went to Big Al's Marine, and I liked the boat. I really liked it, and I'd watched, Al Jr. run it in Mod VP against Rusty Campbell, and it was not slow by any means, and it was a big enough boat. It was actually, when it transferred from Baker to Stoker, Stoker made some changes on it and made it kind of skier friendly and family friendly. And but there was one big problem. Mr. I guess it was Mr. John Stoker would only sell me that boat if I put an Evinrude 235 on it. And I told him, I'll never own a boat with an Evinrude on the back. I said, just sell me the boat and the trailer, I'll take it. He said, no, won't do that. And so I flew back to Fort Worth and waited about 6 months. Said, well, you know, I guess I'm just going to have to make my own boat because nobody really makes what I want. I want a hot rod boat that I can ride my family around in safely, that I can pull my kids skiing, and that at the end of the day, when Miss Robin backs the trailer back down the boat ramp, Daddy can go out and make 4 or 5 hot rod passes, and I get to get all excited and have fun. And that was the mission design of a Triad V21. And we're probably going to run out of time on this and have to go into the details of it in the next one. But basically, that's why they're Triad V21s. I needed to build a family hot rod boat that was family friendly and still went fast and drove good. That's where the Triad V21 came from. And everybody asked me, well, what does Triad mean? Why'd you call it that? Well, I love that Stoker so much that I wanted to build it similar to the Stoker with the Mod VP center pod and all that. And I still got drawings that I did of that boat. I actually built I think my son might have been 3, 4 years old. I built him a scale model of it. And after I did that, I said, I ain't building any more model boats. If I got to do this much work, I'm going to make one I can ride in. But anyway, I really didn't totally understand the whole Mod VP type setup. And but I did understand how V-bottoms work very well. And so although I named the boat Triad, the company Triad, I built basically a V-bottom instead of doing the 3 running surface. That's what Triad means, is 3. But we didn't build that boat till we built the DR20 drag. It's Mod VP style boat. It runs on 3. Well, it runs on 2 surfaces if you know how to, 1 surface if you know how to drive it. But that answers the question, why did I build a V21? And it answers the question that everybody asks, where'd you get the name Triad? So those questions are answered. And on the next video, I'll tell you what I went through, what I had to do, and all the hours in a little bitty shop in an industrial park in Kennedale, Texas, building that thing in my so-called spare time. And the friends that helped me, and my nephew that helped me, and some of the people in the industrial park even helped me. You know, I mean, it was a group effort. When it came down to grunt labor, I got group effort. Design wise, I had to do that myself, but it turned out great. If you got a Triad V21, you know how great that boat drives. You know it's fast, and you know it's safe. You can run it 110. You really shouldn't run it past about 108. I can run mine 110, reach over and cut the key off, and all it does is sit down, slow down. It's got good manners. But anyway, we'll talk about all those details on the next video. But I want to tell you, you need to hit that like button for me so we can keep doing this. And I need you to subscribe to it, because the more subscribers I get, the more help I get from YouTube to keep this thing on. And the more you share it, the more possibility I get for more likes and more shares. I mean, more subscribers. And they're looking for, they want 1,000 subscribers. So get to work, guys, girls, help me out. And Robin ain't looking. She's in another room. I want to show you something. I hope this works out. But I can walk. I'm fixing to be free from that thing. See you later, guys, girl. Thanks.